Hi you guys, how are you doing? I hope you are all well. I'm very excited for today's video. I feel like when I saw these come out, I thought it would be a huge deal and everyone would be talking about them, but I actually haven't seen that many posts about them or like that much information about them out there, so I wanted to make sure that I got a review up for you guys in case you were curious too. Now I might be totally just like missing the mark and have been in my own little hole and haven't noticed that everyone's buzzing about these, but yeah, I kind of feel like I'm one of the first couple of people to be talking about it. So as you can see, I have this very dewy, glowy look going on today, and that is mostly due to the brand new RMS Luminizing Powders. I actually have all three shades here. Aillea Beauty was kind enough to send me all three shades so that I could do a comprehensive review for you guys and kind of a demo of what I think. So for those of you who haven't watched my reviews before, I always sort of start by just talking about the product, the packaging, the price, all of that good stuff. Then I'll show you actually applying it to my skin, and then we'll do some wrap-up thoughts about it at the very end. So starting off with some of that basic information, these are obviously from RMS Beauty, which is a green beauty company. A lot of their ingredients are organic, and they are most well known for their cream highlighters like the Living Luminizer and the Magic Luminizer, which are two products that I personally really love. Now, some people have issues with them because they do kind of crease if you're using them in your eye area. Now, I personally don't really care. I think it's like not that big of a hassle to kind of smudge them out. You know, it's not a big deal to me, but I do understand that for some people that is an issue. So when they came out with these luminizing powders, I felt like they were maybe trying to cater to that audience, which is really great. It sounds like they're listening to consumer feedback. The packaging itself is very simplistic, very minimal, like all of RMS's other packaging. So it has this white theme to it. It comes in what looks like a plastic acrylic case with a white opaque insert into it. When you actually open it up, it's a circular pan with a little plastic protector, and I did read that these are a little bit fragile, so you do need to be careful because they're not held together with like synthetic glues and stuff like that. If I'm getting that correct, I'm pretty sure I am. It's actually a pretty heavy compact. I don't know if you have felt their Living Luminizer, their Magic Luminizer, but those come in frosted glass containers with a little, it looks like almost like an aluminum or a metal lid to it, and they're also hefty, but somehow they feel a little bit lighter to me than this. This is like a solid chunk, like a brick. On the back, there's all the information you need. So you have the name of the actual product, you have how to apply it, and then you'll see that little container which says 12 months. So that means that this is good for 12 months after you open it. And there's a little note that said, our luminizing powders are not held together with glue and chemicals, so treat respectfully. So that's what I was talking about before. They are a little bit fragile. On top of that, you'll see that there is the recycling symbol, which means that this packaging is recyclable. I do wonder about the mirror though, because I have found when talking with Tyla, if you guys haven't seen that interview on Aillea Beauty, she did say that mirrors are not recyclable. So I'm not sure if this is recyclable with the mirror or without. I'll have to do a little bit of research into that and maybe reach out to the brand and see what they say. Now, each of these retail for $38, which is the same price as the Living Luminizer or the Magic Luminizer in its individual pot. It does come in 3 colors, and the colors are Grande Dame, which is an alluring moonlit champagne luminosity. It's like a white champagne-y color, so I don't actually find that there's much yellow tint to it, and this actually ended up being one of my favorite shades. I just think it works the best for my skin tone. The second shade is Midnight Hour, a glowing rose gold radiance. So this is a much warmer shade. I think it would look great on warmer skin tones. For me, I ended up using it on my eyes, which you guys will see in a minute, but it does have a slight orangey golden undertone. And then the last is the Madeira Bronzer, an enchanting sun-kissed bronzed highlight. And this is a very interesting color to me. It's almost like a purpley red bronzer color. It's probably the one that I was the most unsure about. I'm not really sure that it works for my skin tone, but it's definitely a very interesting color, and yeah, you guys will see when I apply it. So the description on their website says, these silky smooth luminizing powders challenge traditional formulas while preserving their healing nutrients. The ultra-fine mineral pigments are non-drying and will enhance your skin to create a luxurious highlight. This will leave your skin moisturized and radiant with a luminous, youthful finish. So who doesn't want that? So immediately when I read that description and I heard about these products and I saw the products, I was reminded of the Hourglass Ambient powder highlighters. Is that what they're called? I used to have them before I switched over to Green Beauty. That is a cruelty-free brand though. And I used to really like them because you could kind of put them all over your face and they were very subtle. You could use them as a powder and they sort of just like light you up. When I actually saw these are a much denser formula, it feels like. They're definitely like a very pressed powder. They have a nice pigment to it. I do think that you can kind of sheer them out, but I also think that they're really beautiful in their most like pure concentrated form. So quickly, I'll just walk you guys through how I actually use them and you'll see me applying them. So to start off with, I just prepped my skin with the Kjaer Weis Beautiful Oil. I ended up doing this because I was using the ILIA True Skin Serum Foundation, and this does have dimethicone and silicone in it, which can be kind of dehydrating for your skin. So I do like to prep the skin with oil, and it's sort of that like added layer of protection before you put on that product. But I really love the finish of ILIA's foundation, and I also didn't want a foundation that was super glowy because I knew I was going to be adding all of this highlight at once and I need to leave in like 30 minutes to go to an event, so I didn't want to be like a glowing disco ball. So after I applied my oil foundation, I did a little bit of concealer work under my eyes, put on some brow gel, curled my lashes, and then I actually went into Midnight Hour first. Now this is the rose gold color, and like I was saying, it is a warm gold, almost orangey toned color. Very pretty. It definitely wouldn't work for me as a highlight just because of my skin tone. Now that's not a flaw of this product because not every product is going to work for everyone's skin tone, but personally I think that this would look better either on myself when I'm much tanner, maybe during the summer if I even get tan, or on people with deeper skin tones. I think this would be really beautiful. Medium to dark, I think you could rock this and it would look amazing. I put it on my eyes and I found that the formula was really lightweight, very comfortable to wear. Now obviously I've only had this on for about 20 minutes, so I'm not sure how it's going to wear throughout the day. As always, I will keep you guys updated either here in the description box below or over on Instagram. Just leave me a comment if you guys want to know how this wore. It does add a really beautiful luminosity and it does have that non-sparkly feeling, which I really like. So it's more of a shimmer. It looks a little bit more natural. It does remind me of cream products, but it has that staying power of a powder instead. So this was a really beautiful color to use on my eyelids and I really enjoyed it. Next, I went in with the Madeira Bronzer, and this, I'll put a disclaimer out there, is one that I'm actually going to keep trying to see if I like it. Now, I have texture on the sides of my cheeks, and so adding anything with luminosity there doesn't necessarily work for me just because it highlights all of that texture, which is sort of unfortunate. So I would put a disclaimer out there that if you too suffer from texture on your cheek area and you're wanting to minimize it and not wanting to draw attention to it, it's not the best idea to put something that's luminizing or sparkly or whatever on that area, such as a highlight or a highlighting powder, because it just draws attention to it. So for me, I knew that this wouldn't be the best fit for my skin right now since I am dealing with a little bit of texture. But I was very curious about the color because, like I said, it's a very deep tone, and I found this with their cream bronzer too, that I wasn't sure how much to add and how much pigment would actually show up. So I went in the first time with a very light hand, and it did pick up a lot of product, which was great. And so I sort of focused it up around my forehead and then a little bit on my cheeks and over the bridge of my nose just to add that sun-kissed glow. This definitely brought luminosity to my skin. Again, I'm not sure that this color is right for me just because of the undertone, but if it works for you, then it certainly is a luminizing bronzer. I think I might prefer matte bronzers a little bit more, but this would be gorgeous on my eyes, and I'll definitely kind of see where this fits in with my friends and family if anyone else wants to try it out. But like I said, its undertone is more of a deep red or almost a purpley color, and that's great because you're not going to look orange with this bronzer, but I don't think that works for everyone's skin tone. So again, just a caution out there, it might not work for you and it might work perfectly. You just got to try it out. It was actually less pigmented than I thought it would be when I put it on my skin. I thought it was going to be very, very dark, and it was actually more of a sheer wash of color, and I am very pale, as you can see, and I can get away with wearing something this dark, but definitely in the pan it looks very intimidating as a bronzer next to my skin tone. Unfortunately, I have some dryness up by my forehead, and I did see it start to cling to that, and I'm not sure if that's a combination of the foundation I was wearing or just the dryness itself. So another disclaimer, I don't know how these will perform on dry skin. skin. It does cling a little bit. I don't think that's the fault of this powder. I think that's a powder in general will do that, and so perhaps you'd be better off using their cream bronzer formula just to give you that added hydration so that it won't cling to those areas. I especially noticed it clinging right here, which is at the top of my forehead, and that, like I said, is where I have that dry area, and it's kind of patchy and starting to cling to it, unfortunately. Last but not least, I used Grande Dame as my actual highlight color, and now this was very strategic because I took a look at all of these colors beforehand, figured out what would work best for my skin tone, and I decided that this one would work best for my skin tone. It does remind me of a mixture of the Living Luminizer and the Magic Luminizer in terms of color. It's kind of that like perfect middle tone, and certainly, like I said, works for paler skin tones like myself. I placed this on the high points of my cheekbones, on the bridge of my nose, in the inner corner of my eye, on my brow bone, kind of all of those high points that I really wanted to exaggerate with this highlighter. And this was by far my favorite. I think because the shade works so well for me, the formulas are very consistent throughout all three of these shades, which is wonderful. Like I said, very lightweight, very creamy, relatively easy to blend, although over dry patches, that's when they stick. I actually ended up applying this one with my fingers just to see if it gave a different feel, and I felt like it blended really well with fingers and just as well with a brush. But using your fingers, you can actually feel the texture of the product, and it is a very velvety, soft product, which is really interesting. I feel like these are great if you want to do a very subtle, natural highlight, and I do think that's what RMS Beauty is all about. It's not these like very Instagram, super flashy looks. Now, you can probably build their products up to be that way, but I think for the most part, they try and put forward this fresh face, just like enhancing natural features kind of look, which is, you guys know, pretty much my makeup all the time. I don't do anything too crazy or too heavy, really. So I'm very sensitive to when products feel like cakey or they feel too heavy on my skin, and this is definitely not one of them. Now, I'm looking forward to experimenting a little bit more with them and seeing like if I could put it all over my face as a setting powder and how that would look. But this is just a little first review of me trying them. If you guys want to see more looks with them, let me know. But just sort of to wrap up my thoughts, I think they're a great alternative to the cream RMS highlighters. If you find that the creasing bothers you, if you find that they move throughout the day, then I think these would be a much better option, and they sort of fit in the color family of the RMS highlighters, so you have a great alternative. I will keep you guys posted on how they wear. I told you my favorite color, which is Grande Dame. It just works the best for my skin tone. Midnight Hour I think would be great on medium to darker skin tones, and then the bronzer, I'm still trying to figure out what skin tones that would work best for. Like I said, it is a pretty sheer wash of color, but there's definitely some red and purpley tones under there, so potentially a deeper skin tone, but don't be scared of it if you have a pale skin tone like me. I think you can work with it. I would just hesitate to put it over any textured areas on your face, and like I said, for me, that tends to be concentrated on my cheeks, so it's not a product that I think I would reach for every day. Overall, I think these are a really exciting idea, and it's really fun to see brands come out with new innovative formulas that compete with conventional beauty. Now, they do recommend to use all of these with their brush, but as you guys can see, I did not. I used them with my own brushes and my finger, and I was just fine. So I think that's a suggestion. I don't think that's necessary. They work just as well with your own brushes or your finger, like I just said. One thing I really appreciate about all of these formulas is there's no real sparkle to it. Your skin just looks kind of glossy and glassy, but still very natural. It's not like chunks of glitter all over your face, which you know is my pet peeve for highlighters. I just want them to be very smooth and add luminosity, but not be anything crazy. I hope that this was helpful just to give you guys an overview of the products and give you a little peek into what they actually look like. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I will be sure to answer them. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like that's a pretty good wrap up of my impressions of these products and how I'm using them, and I'll keep you guys posted if I find any new innovative ways to use them, whether that's using them wet or using it all over my face, all that good stuff, so I will let you guys know. Otherwise, I'm gonna go outside with all my luminosity and enjoy the rest of the day. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below for weekly videos, always featuring clean green beauty. And make sure to follow me over on Instagram at cosmeticsbycaroline. I do giveaways and post over there and lots of stories, so it's really fun. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and I am feeling very glowy. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye!